You need to figure out a way to get paid to do this.
The most important thing for me is to be better than yesterday.
It's the classic being so risk adverse that you're making the biggest risk of all.
That's true.
Jonathan Garcia in the house, fellow Torontonian. He, if you've ever looked at our Discord, he's the one who helped it out. Actually, you guys should join. Carmichael.biz. Jonathan helped me set it up. I answered all of my noob questions in doing it. And also contributed a lot to our NFT talk inside Movement Makers, which was tons of fun. And he bought, you weren't the first one, but you bought one of the first ones.
No, I wasn't the first one. And to be honest, it was more like I was on Tom Bilyeu's Discord, and then you ended up coming there and started chatting with people. And I'm like, dude, if you had an NFT, I'm totally buying it. Next thing you know, you tell me you had a soft launch. And I'm like, just quickly on it. And I'm like, I'm going to get one.
Anyway, so part of buying the NFTs, you get a bonus. And one of the bonuses are doing an IG Live. So we're doing this IG Live.
Here we are.
What do we got, man? How can I help?
I was thinking about it. I'm like, what do I need coaching for? And I think, especially right now, for me, a big thing is time management, especially being part of VFriends, running the VFriends Canada like community, as well as like being part of your Discord as well. And like, there's a lot of things that I do. Like, basically, I'm pretty much into endurance sports and that kind of stuff. So I'm running and biking, and on top of that, I'm also a registered nurse and basically doing 12-hour shifts all the time. So like, there's so much things to do, but my problem is more, how would I prioritize everything? Because I think the big thing for me is pretty much prioritizing things. Like, you should have seen how much time I spent in the NFT and crypto space, like before, like even meeting you, to be honest.
Yeah. What does that mean, running VFriends Canada? What are you doing?
So it's pretty much like running your Discord in a way. But there's a whole community when it comes to VFriends Canada. It's like the sub community of the main community for VFriends. And luckily, at least enough for me, I was able to meet like a bunch of like awesome people all over Canada, and it's like our own kind of community. Technically, you should be part of it too. Now that I think about it, that you got those books.
Yeah, I don't own a refriend though. I own the books, but I don't
That's
think
still the same thing.
Is
But
it?
I mean, we're pretty much welcoming to everyone, even if you don't have a VFriend. It's kind of just like our own like community with regards to being able to connect with each other.
So this is the thing. It's like you need to figure out a way to get paid to do this.
So the funny thing is, though, at least especially for me, it's not always really about the money for like the way that I think about things.
No. But it's so you don't have to go work your 12-hour shifts.
That's what you're saying. Yeah, that would be nice.
Well, that's the punchline. Like you need to, at the very least, take a leave of absence from your job to be able to focus on this for 12 months and see where it can take you. But okay, now if you take a leave, then how are you going to make money? So you got to figure out a way to make money doing this, because it's where your energy's at, man. It's like you're waking up. Yes, you've got your biking and flying to BC and doing all that, your endurance stuff, but your other waking hours you're spent doing NFT stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Like when you joined and did our Movement Makers thing, you were at the end of a back-to-back 12-hour shift. Like
I was finishing off a night shift, but yeah, basically you told me you're free, so I'm like, okay, I'm jumping in.
And you most people at the end of a back-to-back night shift are just exhausted, and here you are, it's like, let's go NFT. How do I get in on it? And there's so many people launching their projects, and there's whether a NFT winter is coming or not, we'll see. But the long term is definitely there, and that's where your heart lies.
Yeah, it's honestly, like, for me, you should see me after night shifts. I'm like, I do my best to pretty much like use up my time as well as I could, especially when you're like training, for example, for a marathon or biking like all the time, which is a lot of the stuff that I do on my free time. like it takes a lot of energy and a lot of time to be able to organize yourself. And the big thing for me, I mean, even balancing with regards to balancing the VFriends Canada community, as well as participating in other discords and whatnot, like I'm able to like get the things that I need to get done, which is the big thing. But I know what you're saying when it comes to like trying to free up more time.
What
Because when
what
it,
what do you? I'm trying to think. What's the biggest value that you would bring? Is it on the NFT consulting, marketing, program, project design? Is it on the community side of things?
it could be both of those, to be honest. Like I feel like I've spent so much time in this like NFT space. Like there's people that are actually even consulting with me with their own projects and that kind of stuff. I do it for fun though, not for money. Not that I need it, kind of thing. But it's.
We'll need it. It's your job.
But
You need
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
you do need it. You need it. Listen, money is never my number one priority either, but you need it to be able to
Trying to
live,
free up your time.
to have a bigger impact. Because otherwise,
I
if
know what you're saying.
like you'll eventually make money from your in buying the NFTs. The hard part is there's no staking of an NFT yet. I mean, there's some new things coming up that maybe you'll be able to rent out your VFriends. But
Mhm.
if you are hardcore into ETH or Bitcoin, you could at least stake it and start earning some
I have
income,
passive income. Yeah, I know what you're
right?
saying.
So, but that's not what you're doing. I mean, maybe you're doing
So
something too. But
for
in NFTs, there's no payday. There's no money coming in, right?
yeah.
You're an asset, and eventually you can sell the asset if you want,
Mhm.
or you hodl for life, or you spend a year buying stuff and then sell it so that you can live that next year, and then you buy some new up and coming stuff. And like, are you going to be the guy who's the talent to find the next project, to know what the undervalued projects are going to be? You're going to go heavy on buying those. But yeah, you need to find a way to make money doing it so that you can, even if you're not making as much as the nursing job,
Mhm.
to support yourself so you can do this full time plus.
Nah, I know what you're saying. And it's funny, before the NFT space and crypto space, it was more like stock investing and that kind of stuff. So that's actually a big part of my life as well when it comes to investing. So I'm more of a long-term investor when I look into projects and like seeing the big picture of things. When I invest in something, it's kind of like, what is this going to be in 5 to 10 years? Like right now, especially when we talk about the NFT space, like there is a big potential that we're in a bubble. When you look at prices in Ethereum, they don't look that bad. But when you're looking at them in like the prices in like US dollars or Canadian dollars or whatnot, you're kind of like, what the heck is happening here? Like, especially when I was buying VFriends, for example, like I was able to get them pretty much floor price. So I didn't have to spend as much money as the people are spending right now.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like let's say taking profits on the table kind of thing, it's not really. I mean, like I did take some profits in a couple of projects and that kind of stuff, but it's more like what's going to be happening in 5 to 10 years. And I think that's kind of like the way that I look into investing. And to an extent, like I've been successful in that too. It's just not to the point where I want to like leave my job. And I'll be honest with you, like nursing is like close to my heart. It's hard at times, especially with the pandemic here, and all of the things that are happening. But I mean, I think my passions are pretty much spread out like to so many different things when it comes to like NFTs, endurance sports, registering nurse. And I think that's where my issue is as well.
It's just a matter of flipping it. You can always go
Yeah.
volunteer
Mm-hmm.
hospital.
That's true though.
Like you think, okay, let's break this down. If you look at the other things that you're interested in,
Mm-hmm.
you can always do it. You can be a cog in the machine, right? I mean, like if you're in nursing, you're a cog in the machine, and it's really fulfilling to do it, and you love helping the people. Great.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at investing in the stock market, it's really hard for you to do anything that's going to stand out anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you wanted to go launch your own hedge fund or you're going to be the next Warren Buffett. Great, you could. But
Yeah.
you're going up inside of a highly competitive field where you have to set your brand and you gotta set your strategy, and just takes a crazy. You have to earn your reputation.
Yeah.
Running and everything else, that seems more like a side hobby anyway than like you want to be the world's greatest triathlete. But with NFTs, you've got a huge opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Like if all three things are of equal interest to you, the NFT space gives you an opportunity where people will listen to you for advice and help and will pay you for it, where they wouldn't do that in the stock market, and they wouldn't do it in endurance athletics, and they wouldn't do it inside of nursing.
Yeah.
So you could go and build your business inside of NFT and still do your cycling on the side and still go volunteer at hospitals on the side and raise a boatload of money to go help other hospitals continue to grow and build and scale.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said, like, you don't have to quit, but a year leave of absence.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Just to flip it, just to have 12-hour shifts in NFT land.
Yeah.
And then go to the hospital when you want to volunteer at something, as opposed to the way it is right now. Like you have an opportunity that is, it's not going away, but it's an opportunity.
No, I know what you're saying. The thing is, especially when it comes to the NFT space, it's such a young space that it's not necessarily the safest thing to, especially when we talk about investing, for example, not necessarily the most best place to invest your money or time in that sense. Like right now, we're pretty much, it's like a lot of hype cycles. A lot of people are kind of like super excited about it, and that's where you kind of want to be a little bit more careful as well. But
this is why
it's basically like taking risk, but sometimes taking risk is how you get to a new place. You know what I mean?
It's a 1 year leave of absence. You're not throwing away your education and your entire career. So that's the starting point. Yeah. 2, I went through the same thing, dude. When I was in my first business, I had opportunities to make 6 figures out of university. My dream job, investment banking, is what I thought I wanted to be. And then I had a chance to join a startup company, own 30% of it, and make $300 a month. And it was like, but what? All my friends were taking a job. This was 20 years ago, where it wasn't cool to be an entrepreneur, right? It was the environment. So all my friends did not want to be entrepreneurs. All my friends wanted to go get those investment banking jobs.
Yeah.
I just felt like I would regret it if I didn't try. And so the way that I went and did my business was I said, you know what? In a year, I could always go and get another job. It may not be the same job, but I can go get another job. I don't know if this thing will still be around in a year. Yeah. So I have to go and give it a shot. Fear of regret. And then I never went back and got a job. But that I needed that backup plan to give me the permission to go, right? And so one, for you, it doesn't mean that you have to do it right now. Yeah. And it also doesn't mean that you go and you take a flamethrower to your boss's office and like burn all your bridges, right? It's like, it's a leave of absence just to see how it goes. But here's what would happen, probably. You get into it. Even if your first thing doesn't work, like you need to figure out a way to get paid. It may not be as much money as you're making. If you're in it, if you're putting as much time into nursing as you're putting into NFTs, plus how many hours you're already putting into NFTs, like how many hours are you doing NFT stuff right now?
Honestly, it depends on the day kind of thing. Yeah, but like probably like a couple hours. Like, so let's say like 3 to 5 hours kind of thing.
Not a week. A week?
Oh, a week. Oh, that's a fair bit then. I don't know. Let's. I'm actually not sure. Let's say 15 hours. Something like that.
Okay. So let's say 15 hours. 15 hours. And how many hours do you spend in nursing?
Pretty much 80 hours every 2 weeks. So 40 hours a week.
So it's full time. Okay. So now imagine you're doing your 55 hours on NFTs. Even if your first thing doesn't work out, because it's such a new industry, if you're going full time making inroads, you may not help like shape where things go, but you get to make the connections now so much more easily than it will be in a year.
Yeah, and I'm actually noticing that right now too, because
It's already getting harder.
It's gotten to the point where I'm kind of like, damn, I'm meeting all of these entrepreneurs, these other millionaires, these people that are like in real estate, and I'm pretty much picking their minds and like kind of learning from them. And I think being such a small space, especially right now, like let's say, like I always say this, but like there's about 300,000 active wallets when it comes to the NFT space. But what's going to happen when there's like 10 million plus? That's when things are going to be big. And I kind of see what you're saying, especially having like that first mover advantage in this type of space and being able to kind of get an advantage, like kind of connecting and making those connections to kind of build your own kind of thing in the space. Like that's big. And I see that. And there's so much potential when it comes to that, for sure.
If you spent a year doing it, even if your first projects don't end up being the thing, you'll end up making connections that guide you to the huge thing.
Yeah.
That's
what you're saying.
Like you're founding your own hospital.
I see. Anyways, Evan, I have another question for you. This is more related to like personal
Why
brand.
are you skipping over that question, Jonathan? That's the most important one.
But so for me, I had another question with regards to like personal branding and that kind of stuff, because I feel like you're like the best person to ask with regards to this. But I mean, for me, like being able to like meet some of like these influencers and stuff, and I'm kind of like thinking, okay, I'm starting to see kind of like you kind of like, for me at least, when it comes to me personal branding, it's still a new kind of thing for me. But being able to kind of make it focused, or because I'm in so many different things, running, investing, NFT space, like all of those things, it's hard to, like it's so hard to kind of like get a focus, because that's what I find a lot of people that are being successful, they kind of focus on one thing. So I remember talking to somebody who's actually really good at TikTok, and they were like, you should do like crypto and NFTs. But like, for example, let's say my Instagram, for example, like all of that is just basically like a photo album of like part of my life kind of thing, even though I don't show everything.
What's your most important core value?
So I think I was telling you about this, but my one word is elevate, because elevate greatness, which is my motto for life, is 2 words. But when it comes to elevate greatness, the most important thing for me is to be better than yesterday. So I'm always constantly learning, trying to listen to different podcasts, always reading books, being on Discord and trying to like learn from other people. That's pretty much my life in a way.
So listen, if you want to elevate your brand, think of it as a thing that you do, but as a reflection of who you are. The best brands are an emotion.
Yeah.
So hanging around Jonathan should make me want to elevate my life and my business. Not being the TikTok guy.
Yeah. No, I know.
Right? No, but that's like a lot of people tie their brand to a certain thing that they do. Like I am a nurse, or I am a long distance runner, or I am which you might even get bored of that.
Yeah, that's true.
So you don't want to people pigeonhole themselves too much. It's about the feeling, the emotion, and the emotion that you want to give yourself and to others is to help elevate. So you're always, if you're not happy in life, it's because you feel like you're not elevating your life somewhere. And when you're elevating and learning and growing and getting better, you're happy, and also helping others elevate, which is why you love nursing and you love helping the NFT community as well, because you see elevate.
That's exactly it.
So you're the elevate guy. That's your brand.
Yeah.
So everything you create is about helping yourself and helping others elevate. So it changes the story when you could post even the same pictures, but it changes the story that you put to it. So if you're going to go and you show your Vancouver bike race, and you do it with your mom, which is awesome. How do you change the caption now to focus on elevating others? When you take the picture of you in the bar with the VFriends Vancouver or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you change the caption to make it more around elevate?
Yeah, providing value pretty much to the people that are there and trying to bring them up. And that's also part of it too. It's not necessarily just me trying to elevate myself. It's about me trying to elevate the people around me. And that's what I love doing. And that's the same thing with nursing, where you have a whole team. You want to be the best person that you can be to help everyone else out there. Same thing with being in part of the VFriends community, as well as being part of your Discord as well, and trying to elevate the people around there. And that's pretty much what it is. But I know what you're saying.
It's always both. It's always self, and then it's always serve. So for me, I need to believe more in myself. It's a daily fight to believe more in myself, and I try to spread belief to others. And as you elevate yourself more, you can then elevate others as well. Because when you learn something new, you can go teach somebody else. If you're not learning, you can't teach anybody.
Yeah, for sure. And like for me, well, there's for me, stoicism, for example, is like one big thing in my life as well that I love like learning about. There's a saying called memento mori, which basically remember that you will die.
You're gonna die.
And you have to just kind of take each day and be grateful for every day that you have, because you don't know if the next day is going to be there for you. And for me, it's kind of like spreading that, what you learn and what you're trying to elevate people with, and trying to get them to also elevate themselves so they can elevate others. So it's kind of like everyone's kind of growing from each other. And that's kind of like, I guess that's the way that I see where I want to be, kind of thing.
So how do you set yourself up for January 1st to do a leave of absence so you can focus on this stuff?
That is like the hardest thing to do, Evan. Honestly, no, like especially leaving like the nursing space. Yeah, that is tough. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. But I've always like, I don't know. It's just so hard to like even think of that. But I know what you're saying. Sometimes taking risk is like the biggest thing.
But it's not even a risk. It's not that. Don't make it a risk. Don't make it a risk. Like don't jump without a parachute. What do you need to do to set yourself up so that you can, in January or February or March or whatever, or next week, like how can you start to earn an income doing this, or partner with people on their projects so that you can replace your income and still take a leave, right? It's like, hey, okay, I'm making a little bit of money, January, February, okay, got some projects lined up. And if the whole thing falls apart, you can go back to your job. But something tells me that if you're working 60 hours a week on NFT stuff, you're going to find another path. But you have your backup plan. The parachute is there. It's like if anything goes wrong, you can always go back. You've got all the, like you've got the character, you've got the heart, you've got the service, you've got the knowledge, you're willing to learn and dive in. It's just being so risk adverse that you're actually taking the biggest risk of all. It's like the people who play it so safe that then that's the biggest failure, because they never took a shot.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. And I mean, that's just what it is. Even you going on Discord and starting your own community there, that's like taking a risk as well. And look at where we're at. And we're just getting started there.
But it's also not a risk. I'm very risk adverse, dude.
Yeah.
What was the risk? What was the risk in setting up Discord?
That's true.
It was some time. I talked to you. I loved your energy. I'm still going into Twitter spaces and Discord rooms and learning and just asking all the stupid questions. But there's no risk.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just some time to learn. And it's because I'm being drawn to it. Like where you're being drawn to is a good sign of the things that you should be doing. You're being drawn to spend your extra time here. It's a good sign. Now, the other hobbies like the the bicycling and the running and the stock market and stuff, there's just not a ton of opportunity there. There's something there if you really want it to be, but with the NFT space is just so much opportunity. And
Yeah.
if it goes nuclear and like it's 2022 was the year of NFT inferno, great. You go back to your job. You know?
Yeah.
You just get a gig.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you have to do. If you made the same amount, if somebody came to you and said, "Hey, Jonathan, whatever your nursing salary is, I'll pay you the same amount of salary for 1 year to help me do my NFT project."
Yeah.
But you have to take a year, leave of absence, not quit your job, but leave. Do you take that?
See, that's where I'm not sure.
Well, how are you not sure? Okay.
Okay, no, I see what you're saying.
Project. It pays you
it's kind of like it's kind of like if you were to get your own, if you get the money. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like, with someone that you love, like a project you believe, not a rug pull. I didn't even know what a rug pull was 2 days ago.
Right.
I mean, it's like, what, guys? Hold on. What does rug pull mean? Right? Learning. So it's not rug pull is basically ripping somebody off. So it's like a fake project. So somebody that you believe in and that you love, and they pay you your salary for 1 year as a trial. And so you take a leave of absence from the hospital.
Yeah.
You don't take that deal?
And so it's all. I think it's also part of the fact that I love nursing when it comes to that. But I guess you
volunteer.
You probably have to, because especially if the opportunity is knocking, you're kind of like, okay, fine.
You have to, dude. I volunteered. I volunteered at what was the hospital? Sunnybrook Hospital. Do you know Sunnybrook?
Yeah, I do.
Sunnybrook Hospital. Every week after school, and I was with the long-term patients, like where they're going to be there for like months.
Yeah.
Recovering. It's not just like the in and out, because a lot of times they had no family, or people didn't show up, and I didn't have it. I'm not a scientist. I didn't have a biology degree. I didn't know what to do to help apart from just be there. And I played cards with them, and I talked to them, and I just went around and hung out with them. You can still do that. You can be a volunteer nurse, right? Like you don't have to be working the 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
You're just running, like, it's honestly the biggest risk not to be looking for it. I hear what you're saying. It's like, don't quit your job, and don't go all in right now, because that'll put too much pressure on you, and it'll likely implode. But in a risk adverse way, how do you line up the projects for you to give yourself a year runway to make it happen? Because you've got such a big opportunity that, dude, you're going to be buying hospitals. You're going to be founding your own hospitals.
I know what you're saying.
Being a nurse. And you can still always have that part of you that contributes back, but it's the classic being so risk adverse that you're making the biggest risk of all. That's
true. Like staying kind of stagnant in one place is not the best way to kind of grow and be the best of yourself. And I know what you're saying.
It's against elevate.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I know.
Good is the enemy of great. The problem is you still like nursing.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's good. It's not a bad life. You're not coming home like, oh my God, I hate my life. I mean, sure, there's rough days and there's tough times, but net, you like the people, you like the patients, you like the feeling like you're helping somebody. So it's good. And that's the problem. Because when something's good, you kind of don't fix it. If you hated it, you'd say yes in a second. Like, yes.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. I know.
It's worth spending some time on.
Yeah.
Meditate on it, reflect on it, go for a walk, your next long run. How do you, in a risk-adverse way, make that happen? Even if you part-time it, but now an eye towards getting paid to do it. And that it even ties into your what's my brand question. It becomes the same thing. Why do you care about your personal brand if you're a nurse?
Yeah.
Because you want something more.
That's true.
I love you, man. I want to see you win.
Thank you, Evan. Honestly, it was fun talking to you. I'll probably see you on Discord.
I will see you on Discord. Everybody watching, evancarmichael.biz. You get to chat with me and Jonathan in there. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye, Evan.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
To speak more, you need to speak more. That right away could just already double your speaking business. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Jeff.